Thank you, David. Ronnie, CEO of a financial institution, a year ago got some reports from his IT manager about some things that are going wrong in the system. Nothing unusual. This comes and goes, as you know. But one interesting email caught his eyes. He said, "Open this, Ronnie," with his name. And he opened the email, and he sees this, it's blurred deliberately, of course. He sees this very confidential, customer-related information. 2 minutes after he opens the email, he gets on his WhatsApp, he gets this message. That was a small tip of iceberg. Hopefully, those proofs are sufficient so far. Sufficient for what? And then he gets the demand. Very nice, articulated text. Our demand is a single non-negotiable payment of 500 Bitcoins, $120,000 at that time, without any further sanction from our side. So far, we only extracted data without damaging it or trading it. Can you hear the music of an ultimatum? It could be either a real-world penetration testing or an event that will damage your brand in an irreversible way. Just think what leak of all that on the relevant professional forums, an article in the professional newsletter, and other places could do. Well, that was not the last message. The last message was, "We don't want you to end up like Ashley Madison, CEO." And ladies and gentlemen, note this smiley, which means we are here to play. It took Ronnie 2 minutes to reply, "I can't end up like him." But then he thought, "But, you know, I like the example." Why? You like the example. I'm a negotiator, a professional negotiator, and one of my interesting activities is hostage negotiations. I'll tell you the truth, hostage negotiation, real-life physical hostage negotiations, it's much easier to negotiate. Why? Because you speak with the bad guys, and you see the venue, you see and you know how many hostages are there. And by the end of the day, any negotiator knows that they have the SWAT team next to them, which means, you know, you negotiate, and by the end of the day, the SWAT team can come, storm the building, you know, people might get killed, but event is over. But what happens in the virtual world when your data is being held hostage? And how much of your data? In one of these exchanges, the guys who hacked Ronnie wrote, "You are a very unique financial institute with real data that can be quickly extracted. That makes you the perfect target. Cool, good to know." How you negotiate that? I would like to take you through the negotiation process in the next 35 minutes that I got from David, and try to really, but it's called anchoring in negotiations, you know, it's just a technique. Try to build on some of my early colleague speakers who spoke about the difference between the technological element and the human dimension. Because I strongly believe that managing the human factor is key to overcome a cyber crisis. So fasten your seatbelt, we'll start to negotiate. First element, profiling. With whom I'm dealing with here. Who are the people? How you do profile in the virtual world? You start communicate. You start to exchange WhatsApp messages with the bad guys. I don't like the term bad guys, but for the sake of the conversations. With the other side, with my counterpart. They write to me. This is not a traditional business deal where you can do that. We are not the kind of people who need just some kind of money quickly. So what are your motivations? What is your incentive, as Mustafa mentioned? They presented themselves as APT28 at the beginning of our relationship. APT28, for those who don't know, is Fancy Bear, or the unique cyber espionage allegedly supported by the Russians. And they said, we are APT28. And I said, if you are really APT28, yes, correct. So why you moved from cool government stuff to do this, cheap, is this the low oil pricing? And I sent this little, I'm talking with you. I want to see the reaction. These are psychological hooks that we try in the virtual and in the real world to give in order to get the people reaction. At a later point, they tells me, since we have ethics. No, don't smile. This is the criminal, sorry for using this word, this is the criminal code of ethics. They do have ethics. And later on, when we will come to this issue of guarantees, I built on that. You do have ethics. So throughout the early stages of the process, you try to build a profile with whom you're dealing with. Professional, serious people. They are here for the money, but not only for the money. Second thing that you try to do is assess the cost of no deal. Because whether you should pay or you should not pay the ransom depends on the alternative. In the real world, how many hostages will be killed, how many of your SWAT team members will be killed in the operation. In the virtual world, what's the cost of no deal? You try to assess it. And actually, I ask them this direct question. I'm telling them, I'm trying to assess the damage to my company if we don't agree. What happens if we don't pay? What you took from others, it was a coordinated attack on several financial institutions of that type. What you took from others is much more valuable. That was a risky sentence on my behalf. Okay, because I didn't know exactly what did they take from us. And please don't take it personal. You're a very competent professional. That's only business. I write to them. By the end of the day, you don't know with how angry people you deal with. They are telling me people don't want to deal with companies that get hacked, which means they try to explain me why I should pay. First of all, it's a public company. You don't want anyone to know that you were hacked. And later on, then they explain to me the next cost of no deal. Next, selling parts or whole database to competitors. No comments needed, even for 10 cents per records, and we have 1 million records on all your assets. That gives us the original demand price. See how they try to explain me why I should pay them. That's beautiful. And that was the nice conversation. Throughout the 2 months of WhatsApp exchanges, there were minutes of time that the hostage taker was very angry. And they said, tell the board to be thankful to receive our term through you and not through our well-polished reminding system. Which means, for example, we can release to the world the fact that we have your customer data. And actually, they did it to one of the competitors during this crisis. I continued to ask more about what will happen if we will not pay. And then they start to tell me about, consider it like a court settlement before trial. You see here, you can start see type of a settlement, which is not only pay and go. If it makes you feel better, they write me, we will probably give you a few tips on how to ensure that anything like that will... Wow, this sounds like a penetration test, right? They are giving me something. And here's another point that I want to emphasize. If it makes you feel better, why do they care about that I'll feel better? Why? Because throughout the negotiations, I kept referring to what we call negotiations the board tactic, which means the board didn't approve. Sorry, Warwick, I cannot do a deal with you despite our agreement because my board didn't approve. I kept on referring to the board. And this is important because 60% of negotiation failures can be attributed not to failure to get a deal, but rather to failure to coordinate internally. This is the gap between the negotiator and the decision maker. You know it from your real life. You send your people to negotiate, and then the CEO changes her mind, and we try to play in a way that will allow you to get the agreement from the board and from the main shareholder. And in this particular case, I spend most of my time mediating between the CEO who said, let's pay, and the main shareholder who said, I will not be extorted. I don't care. I'm willing to pay $1 million if you find the bastard. I said, well, good. And if I find the bastard, what do we do with them? Because in the real world, you can shoot the bastard, okay? But, well, should I travel to the mountains of Kazakhstan or Belarus or to Hackerville in Romania, which really exists, you know? So managing the internal dynamic is really a challenge. Throughout the process, I try to identify flexibilities. As a good Middle Eastern, I try to bargain for a discount. So, you know, you ask for 500 bitcoins, what about 250, you know? They made it very clear at the beginning. We do not offer gentleman discount at the moment. This is not exactly a retail store and holiday season. Okay? Okay. So if someone tells you no, the answer should not be, why not? You should do it. The answer in negotiation should be, so if not that, what yes? And then they said, you have to understand that coming here and have these discussions make you extremely lucky, thank you, considering the other options. I know that. Until now, almost a month after the events, none of your systems were attacked again. That's a point. Good. I play for time. I negotiate for time. Why? Because during this month of negotiations, my techies could trace back, could patch the system, could tell me what exactly was stolen from me. So I have the time element, and there I do the move. And the move is controlling the negotiation process by framing the outcome. And I'm telling them, 6 payments. Not now, not one, 6. Once the third is paid, you share with me the inventory of what you have from us, which means I'm not paying the ransom. You give me something in return. And then each payment, we go deeper on your advice regarding our security. This is Alex recruiting the hacker to work for me. Okay? If opportunities emerge during this 6-month period, we will discuss them separately. Opportunities to buy others' database. This never happened, by the way, ethic-wise, but I give hope for future relationship. Please indicate what guarantee you give me. That made me laugh, but you have to put it. Let's nail price in US dollars or euros for our accounting system, of course, yeah. Sure. And the last point, again, the personal connections. Don't you ever rest? Why you send me text messages at 2 a.m., 1 a.m.? Just by the end of the day, we're all human beings. okay? They said, like, 6 payments over what amount of time? I said, I would love 6 months. First payment today, 6 months, and then they started really to laugh. But we started to bargain over elements. This looks like a negotiation, and we move towards a deal. They tell me the way we do it is 2 equal payments. After the first month, we tell you exactly how you were breached and which system are most vulnerable. My friends, this is no longer a ransom. This is a deal. I pay, I get. I pay, I get. You think that it's not important. But within the context of the board tension, that was crucial to get it as a deal and to guarantee that the data is not being sold to the competitors. And I said, this is why I appreciate your attitude. I never recommend moving forward based on a virtual contract, but with you, I feel that we have this отношения. How many Russian speakers are in the room? Отношения. Отношения is the Russian word for relationship. But my friend, this is much deeper than the Western meaning of instrumental relationship. Отношения means this type of trust, if I may use this word. I will not say that they were so moved by this connection, but a couple of hours later, they sent me this email. Remember the discount you asked? Well, Bitcoin price went from 238 to 236. You already have a 1,000 discount, but don't bet you'll keep going with, again, the smiley, but this is a different smiley. And then I send them my love. But this doesn't happen only to financial institutions. You know, we've heard during the day how exposed we are. So we're dealing with a white hat hacker that knocks on the door of a big chip company and tells them, in 3 months, I will publish the source code of your hardware. We're dealing with a very unsatisfied client of international dating who kept spamming the YouTube with emails causing damage to clients. 6 months ago, daughter of an Indian billionaire posted her pictures on Instagram from vacation. The guys hacked to the hotel CCTVs and managed to get some other very nice picture of this. And the father paid $250,000 US dollars as ransom. And you know, with Internet of Things, we all exposed. But when you are facing this crisis, remember that by the end of the day, it is the human factor that needs to be managed with the technological elements. I'll conclude with one of the interesting exchanges I had with them. Well, I guess you will have to put a little trust, they're speaking with me about trust, in an entity that had your enterprise tossed upside down in less than a week and still trying to help you out of that. And then I acknowledge, and then I connect again. How do you say in Russia? Доверяй, не проверяй. Trust and verify. Great point, they said, great point. Here's the bond. Thank you very much.
Moty, we published a fine piece by you in May. We did a Wired Security special, which anybody can read on our website, How to Negotiate When Hackers Are Holding You to Ransom, full of information. But we've just got you to write another piece for our magazine on a much more important negotiating topic. We asked you to help negotiate Brexit. So
you do need help.
Give us like a 2-sentence preview of what your argument is.
When people speak about innovation, they usually refer to scientific technological innovation. I'm coming from a different field. I'm using technology in order to promote and encourage innovative thinking. And innovative thinking is how you approach the thing. I've been here 72 hours in UK, and I'm sharing this, are you ready for Brexit negotiations? It will not happen, that's one answer. And the other, yes, we do have a lot of expertise. And I ask, how come? You haven't negotiated trade deals in 40 years, 30 years? What type of experience? Because you do have to design a process which will, first of all, deal with this very angry, nasty, revenge-seeking of French Prime Minister, German Chancellor. They want revenge. And your Prime Minister says, we want a nice exit. It's a huge conceptual gap. That's
If there's anybody here from the government, do you want to hire this man? One more question. Day by day, what sort of projects are you working on? Are you called up by people whose kids have been kidnapped? Or is it much more boring corporate board level work?
They were kidnapped by iPad. We do all type of, from startup negotiating with investors, from merger and acquisition, from conflict in family businesses, all type of situation when experienced people feel that they would like to benefit a second opinion or psychological support or process design, a structured process design advice.
Well, look, your private helicopter that you demanded with the 16 dancers on board is ready for you. Thank you, Moty Cristal.
Thank you.